and welcome to another evening of frank conversation here on Hard Copy, coming to you from our studios in Abuja. I'm Maokwe Ogun Yusuf. Whenever issues pertaining to labor makes it to the front burner, it's usually when strikes are being threatened or have been declared. But in Hard Copy tonight, we bring it for a different reason. Some demands made by labor unions do appear to be getting some positive attention for the benefit of the workers in those unions. This week, the federal government announced the exemption of tertiary institutions, that's universities, polytechnics, colleges of education, and monotechnics, from the use of the Integrated Personnel Payment System, IPS, for the payment of their staff salaries and allowance, a matter that had been a constant source of vexation to the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU. Now, this comes as the federal government also backtracked on the 40% that tertiary institutions had initially been asked to remit as part of its revenue drive. On Hard Copy tonight, we speak with the president of ASUU, Professor Emmanuel Osodeke, on these developments and what they'll mean for the members of his union. Professor Emmanuel Osodeke, thank you for coming on Hard Copy tonight. Let's take on this matter. Now, this matter we started since 2020, this issue of IPS. ASUU has always asked to be exempted from IPS, now seems to have finally been resolved. How have you received the news of the Federal Executive Council approving this exemption for tertiary institutions?
For us, it's some of the what happened in the system will not have happened. Exactly how salary were paid prior to when you have IPS should be what we should go back to. But it's a good development that we are reclaiming our university back rather than being an appendage of the Office of Secretary General or the appendage of the head of service of federation. I think it's a good development. We must commend this government for this particular approach.
Well, this is one out of many other issues that ASUU has always had with the federal government. So as this development is coming, is this coming on the back of any conversation that you have had with the federal government in recent times?
Well, like I said, we have not had any formal the conversation with the government. We have tried to request for meeting with the president. The minister will have had informal meeting and will raise all this issue. And I think that's one of the outcomes of that informal meeting we'll have with the minister. But like I said, we as a union, we believe in negotiation. We believe in collective bargaining in line with ILO provisions. And we want to request, having come this far, that the president should set up a team or direct the minister to meet with us, and we reach an agreement on all the issues, and they are implemented. I will not have a strike-free, free-flowing university system in such a way that we can attract lecturers from all over the world, attract students from all over the world, and our university well-ranked among universities in the world. So we believe that there is a need for a synergy, a meeting point, where we will meet and discuss all the issues for which we went on strike in 2017, in 2019, in 2020, and in 2022. There is a need to meet and look at all the issues and resolve them once and for all. Our university can flow appropriately. And our students can begin to have good education. Ministers will begin to put their children in Nigerian universities. Children of governors will start attending Nigerian universities. And the children of Nigerian big men are rich in Nigeria rather than running around the country to Sudan and to Ukraine and to the Republic. That is what we want. And then we'll start having students coming from all over the world to Nigerian universities so that we'll become the real giant of Africa that we pride ourselves we are.
The 2009 agreement has been one source of disagreement over the years. I mean, different governments have come and gone. ASUU has also changed its leadership, and it seems that there's not been a lot of progress made on the 2009 agreement. This IPS issue was not a part of the 2009 agreement. It was a new issue. So how sacrosanct would you say the 2009 agreement continues to remain?
Well, like I said, the issue in the 2009 agreement and the MOAs, an MOU we have signed after the agreement, none have been implemented. The issue of payment of any academic allowances, which is you have few lecturers in the university where you have too many students and able to pay for assessed work done. Two, the negotiation of that agreement that should have taken place more than 8 years ago have not been negotiated, although we have met with 3 committees of government. With the last one, we had agreement with the Nimibris committee that was refused to sign. Then we had the issue of all other issues, autonomy of the university and what have you. Then the issue of backlog of salary that were owed to us for the work we have done now. You can go around all Nigerian universities. We have met up with all that we lost during the strike. What is remaining is what we lost during the COVID-19. And I think that, I remember don't go on leave again to make all this sacrifice. And we appeal to this government. Having taken the initiative of paying 4 months, they should pay all the outstanding issues so that this country, the university, can have peace and we move forward. Similarly, you are aware that the government United announced wage award, 35% increase for professors and 25% for other category of lecturers, which will happen in September. Till now, it has not been implemented, which if some of the problem you have, what will result in people having problems in the system, has not been implemented. The issue of the so-called 4 months or the 7.5 months still not have been paid. And I remember are passing through a very crucial period, and we believe that this government should do something as fast as possible to mitigate the effects that the 8 months we have done on our members. And to also ensure that our members don't run away as a new president leaving the country to other countries because of the bad treatment they receive in this country.
Well, I hope that the minister would also take those issues up. You have said that you've been asking for a meeting with the president, but let me take you up on this issue of autonomy. There have been calls for university autonomy so that the federal government can hands off funding the universities. Would that be the tail end of the or the outcomes that ASUU will be expecting as a result of autonomy?
You see, I don't see why Nigeria, especially the press, are interested in handing off universities. Who own the universities? Who fund the universities? It's a public universities funded by funds generated by Nigerians. So you can't say hand off university for what? There's already autonomy. It's already there. The problem is implementation. And what the federal institutions have done this week is one way of implementing the autonomy you already have in the system. Go and check the constitution. Public university education in the three. That's important about handing off. Why should if one hand off, they should not hand off National Assembly. They should not fund National Assembly. They should not fund the presidency. They should not fund the judiciary. I don't think we should talk about handing off the system. We should talk about funding the university. Like the United Nations have said that they should release 26% of budget to education. We should be talking of handing off. Is it a private universities? We do also hand off, like I said, other parasitic government that enjoyed autonomy, the judiciary, the National Assembly, the executive. We should be talking about is Nigerian public university owned by the country, funded by funds generated by all Nigerians for Nigerian children. I don't want to be talking about financial autonomy. We are talking about autonomy. Let university run the way it is. And what is the structure? At the structure of the autonomy, the highest person at the top of Nigerian university is the president of Nigeria, who is a visitor to the university. That is number one person. He appoints 6 members of governing council, including the chairman of governing council, to represent the government in running the university. Then the council appoints vice chancellor to run the university on behalf of the government. So we should not be talking about autonomy as if it is financial. The autonomy is already there, it's well structured, headed at the top of the organogram by the president as the visitor, who appoints a chancellor, a ceremonial, appoint a pro-chancellor, and 6 members to run the university on behalf of government. That is what university autonomy is. And by the autonomy, secular coming from ministry, as they have said so, like peace, like employment. When you get to the university, the law of the university is very clear that they are not applicable to the university. So that is the autonomy we're talking about. That autonomy the university already have. It's not finance. Universities are owned by federal government, and they are duty bound to fund the universities.
Well, the level of the funding, I think, is what a lot of people are also looking at with that. I mean, when you make reference to the National Assembly, you make reference to the judiciary, these are not entities that, generate funds of themselves. For instance, the National Assembly, I don't know that National Assembly generates any sort of funds, but people think that because we also have these private institutions, performing the same role as our universities that are totally financially independent, they think that there is a role that our universities can play in terms of, yes, they can get grants, yes, they can get maybe some other sort of funding, but that, government doesn't have to bear the entire burden of funding our universities. You don't agree?
Let me put it very straight to us, so that we don't miss issue. As we speak presently, the parents are part contributing part to funding universities. The students are funding universities. Lecturers are getting grants to fund universities. It's a meeting of these two that we are using to fund ASUU. Let me give you an example. As of today, University of Lagos receive 15 million naira a month for overhead costs for running of Unilag. 15 million. That is what they get. University of Ife, UI, ABU, UNN, they get 15 million as overhead costs. Meanwhile, in this university, the cost of this alone in the month is more than 200 million. Who is funding this additional 185 million? They are the parents and the children. So it's not correct that the federal government is funding the university fully. What are the federal government doing principally now is paying for the remuneration taken care of by the students and the universities. So let's look at it. I think our journalists should go to the university and look at how the funding is done. You can't be giving 15 million naira to University of Lagos to run in a month, 10 million naira to the Michael Okpara University to run in a month, including the private sectors who are also funding the system through TED funds. So the funding is coming from many. Well, what we are saying, government, do your own part.
So let me quickly take you up on this issue of student loans. ASUU has been pretty vocal on the issue of student loans, and there had been talk that, ASUU might go on strike as a result of this. I think ASUU was also saying, no, don't give them loans. Instead, you should give scholarships and let students be able to go to school, or grants, as the case might be. But we understand it was an issue that ASUU was taking up, and there was curiosity as to why that was the business of ASUU.
Thank you very much. As a union of intellectuals, we see further than other people in the system. When they were introducing IPs, we talked about all these things, all that have happened to IPs. I can tell you I'm alleged to have taken 1.something billion. We talked about all of this before IPs was introduced. But nobody listened to us. But it's clear today. The loan, what we did is to look at past. The student loan had been introduced twice in the past and not worked. So what has changed? 2, look at the conditionalities. Who will sign? Which level 12 officer will sign for the children of the poor in the villages to get access to the loan? 3, the conditionalities. And then 4, how much was budgeted this year? 50 billion. How many people will 50 billion goes to as loan? Then, very importantly, let's look at another part of the world where this loan has been introduced. Let's use America. In America, the employment rate is less than 10%. Nigeria is more than 30%. In America, the president, the Biden, is paying back the loan because the children cannot pay again. The government is paying back. In such a country where students can easily have access to a job after graduation, cannot pay back, and they are suffering. In some countries from our experiment, people committing suicide. Is it in Nigeria when the children is sure that in 10 years you might not get the employment that they can pay back the loan? What we are saying, the issue is just 50 billion. Why can't we convert that 50 billion as a country like Nigeria to grant for the children of the very poor, just like ASUU is doing? This year we are giving scholarships to not less than 500 students. You have seen it. 20 students we are giving as a union. If we can mobilize the public, then the government join. Let's give to those who cannot afford it. Not give them as a loan and become a liability for them before they even graduate. I'm not sure of getting a job. We are thinking of the Nigerian people, those who cannot afford it, those children who are in the villages, whose parents earn less than 30,000 naira a month. Those are people we are thinking of. And if it's just about 50 billion, Nigerian government should give that 50 billion as grant to the student rather than giving it as a loan. That will encourage them in future and could make them start going into crime in order to pay for this loan. That is our advice to this system. But like we said, if the parents and the children and the students believe that it's a very good thing for them, then they go ahead. We have just given advice as a union of intellectuals.
So this is not something that is going to cause a strike. It's going to be on the list of demands from ASUU. Is that what you're saying, sir?
Definitely no, it's not. What I'm saying, for a country like Nigeria, where from what we are seeing, a minister is budgeting 1 billion naira for a trip to Geneva, for one trip, giving 50 billion as grants to Nigerian students, to me, it's a very small amount of money. That's my own understanding. If one person, one team, one ministry can take a trip of 1 billion per trip, and you are giving 50 billion to all Nigerian children as grant, I think it's not too much.
Okay, let's take this. Let's talk about the issue of the current economic situation and the how lecturers are also coping with this times. I know that you've spoken about the wage award and how the federal government is yet to pay. But I'm sure within your union as well, you must also have done like an analysis of the economy and whether or not you think that we're on the right path for some of the decisions that have been taken so far. I mean, amongst the eggheads within ASUU, what has the conversation been like with regards to our economy?
Thank you very much. The wage we are earning today was negotiated in 2009. That is what we are still earning today. Where a professor, as at that time, if you convert what a professor was earning then to dollar, it gives you about $3,000 per month, $3,000 per month. But today, if you convert that one to the dollar, we are still earning today, it's about $300 per month. So what a professor is earning at the bar, the last step, is about $300 per month, compared to $3,000 about just in 2009 when we negotiated. That's what we're talking about negotiation. Our income has also grown over this period, has grown. When you look at the budgets at that time, it was less than 5 trillion per annum. Look at the budget now, it's 27 trillion per annum. Meanwhile, the salary of the lecturer in when budget was about 5 trillion per annum is what per budget per year is what is he earning when the budget is 27 billion. That tells you that, to me, without looking at being an economist, that tells you that as our fund we're growing, there also be a growth in what you pay to your lecturers. As our naira is depreciating from about $100 then, or 100 naira to $1 then, to that now 1,000, there should also be a growth so that the people will live. As I see, so many lecturers are just hanging on. Many are dying. They cannot take care of their head. $300, what will it give to you? And with the present fuel increase, you will spend up to $100 to take fuel to work and home in a month if you are going to work. So when we are talking about the budget to now, when the budget is 27 trillion, there should be a growth in what the lecturer takes home so that they can take care of themselves. Now also know that a university lecturer is not just like any other staff in Nigeria. A university lecturer is universal. A professor in UK is a professor in Nigeria, is a professor in anywhere. And when you are recruiting a professor, that is what, oh God. And when you are recruiting a professor, that is what you should be looking at. You can recruit a professor from anywhere, but no other category of staff you need to recruit from anywhere in the world. So those are the issues we need to look at.
Well, I was also looking at some of the decisions that have been taken so far in terms of the removal of subsidy, which has had a profound effect on the economy, and a number of other economic matters, which are decisions which the president and also the CBN have also taken in recent times. I do not know if ASUU, I mean, the eggheads within, I don't know if you have a think tank within ASUU, if they've been able to have a conversation as to whether or not they think the country is on the right path or not.
Thank you very much. One of the reasons we are trying to meet the president is as a union, we have put a team together to develop a blueprint of how we should be able to run our country and have a better living environment for the people. And that document is ready. So we're trying to meet the president so that we can give him a copy of the document. He can look at it. Because in every part of the world, when a country has crisis, you go to your universities for solutions. But here we don't do that as a country. And that's a major crisis. When they introduced the IPPIS, we are challenged to produce alternative. It took us less than 2 months to produce UTAS. And when it was tested in all category, UTAS completely outscore the so-called IPPIS. So in other countries, when they have crisis, they go to universities. But on our own as a union, we put a team together and they came out with a document that we have been trying to see the president and present to him. Not just about strike or no strike. As a union, we are also interested in the country. And we do hold a pledge to care of to meet with him and present this document and discuss with him on how we believe this country can run and move the country forward. Any country that neglects its academics does not go anywhere. But what do? We keep on running abroad to look at a solution, look at partner. When you have the partner in this country, we have the brains, some of the best brains in the world. So we want to challenge this president to look within, look at our universities, who will provide the solutions. Not going outside all over looking for people, foreign partner, what have you. For every country, your country is number one. So if you go to any court to look for a solution, they must take out their own first and how they will benefit from whatever they are going to give you before they give you anything. And that's where we are today.
Okay, let me take you up on the issue of the minister. Professor Tahir Maman is the substantive minister. You also have Honorable Sononu, who's a medical doctor and also a former member of the House of Representatives as a Minister of State. How confident are you in these ministers appointed by the president?
Well, at least for us, we have looked at his background. He has been in the system, so he knows what the system is. He was earning, when he was in the federal university, he knows how much he was earning. So he knows the system. Unlike those who were there before who didn't know the system exactly the way it is. So it's a plus that two of them have been in the system. And that is one, too. This thing he achieved yesterday also gave us a confidence that he's thinking about the system. If you recall, all through the past 8 months we were on strike, this was a major issue. And those ministers then didn't do little or nothing to find solution to them. So we believe that work with him and see how we can change the system and turn it around. But for now, we are still waiting and watching.
Well, Professor Emmanuel Osodeke, we will be waiting and watching with you. You have, in recent times, ASUU has embarked on a number of CSR programs. That's what I can call them. We saw you in Niger State, giving out food items to those who are in need, those who had been displaced by the conflicts in some of the areas there. We also have heard from you now that you've given out scholarship to indigent students. Is there a reason why ASUU is embarking on these projects?
We have been doing this right from time. For more than we have been doing this. We have gone to Northwest long ago. We were in South by Bakassi. So we have gone to Northwest. We have also gone to North Central. So we have been doing it over time. Only that the press were not capturing it, but the good now they are capturing what we are doing. We have been giving the scholarship for more than 5 years now. There's a particular lady we gave a scholarship in Gombe, and we are so proud of her. It's our daughter, Mariam Umar, our daughter, a lady who does not have arm, but managed to write jam and pass and gain admission to universities. And we have taken her, the daughter, and taken care of her fully. And we say our proud daughter is somebody who doesn't have arm but can write and pass exam and is doing very well and is looking happy. So we are doing all this over time. So that's what we are doing. But we are not looking for press coverage. What we are looking for, we are doing for the people. In the government circle, you want to give 1,000 naira out, you call the press, you call everybody. For us, we just give. And that's what we'll be doing from branch to branch. And you can check. So it is our own. It's one of, when you look at our constitution is part of the issue that you have there, the socio-economic of Nigerian people.
I think it is commendable that ASUU does it. I'm just a little curious as to why they do it. That's what I'm asking.
We are doing it because it's our responsibility. You must give to the environment. We must ensure we can't watch a student who should be a first class and he drop out of school. We would rather get our member to contribute money and we take care of that student so that it can develop the country. It's part of when you check our constitution, it is there. And we have been taking that particular route for quite a long time, helping those who cannot have help any other place. If all our systems do that, we will not be where we are today. So we encourage our civil society, our corporate unions, our government, the rich, those Nigerians are just talking about want to be the richest man in the world, the 10th richest man in the world. We should invest in the system and ensure that the poor also have access to education, just like they have access. All of us have access when we were young. When I was a student, I was being paid for being a student. I was given bursary. The government paid me for being a student. So today we want to force the student to now start paying to government. I don't think it's correct. Almost all of us who are in this category today, people in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, were paid, especially in Southwest and South in the West, they were paid for being students. They enjoy free education, primary, secondary, and universities. Now we want to force the children, when things are more difficult today, to pay to the system. I think we should be thinking about where we are coming from.
Well, the connection has really been challenging. But Prof, we have to thank you so much for coming on Hard Copy tonight.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Well, that's the program tonight. Your feedback will always be welcome to the handles showing on your screen. Thank you for watching. I'm Nigerianpolitics. Good night.